Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar called Optimizing Aluminium Manufacturing Data Flow. I'm Marco Bosisio, General Manager at Atieuno, and it's a pleasure to open this webinar with you today. Thanks a lot for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time. This webinar will last about 40 minutes, including the last 10 minutes for your question. Um, Please write your question not in the chat, but in the box with the question marks. We hope you find it useful and interesting. Let's start. At Atieuno, our mission is straight: to help our client take control of complexity. We do that by delivering digital tools that connect people, machines, and decisions. And they do that across the entire aluminum extrusion and manufacturing workflow. The landscape of aluminum manufacturing is evolving rapidly, shaped by three major dynamics that are pushing companies to adapt and innovate. The first one is complexity. With increasing product customization, shorter lead time, and growing customer expectations, the operational landscape is more demanding than ever. Plants are under pressure to manage a rising number of variables while reducing errors, avoiding downtime, and maintaining consistent quality. Complexity is no longer the exception, but it's the new standard. And without the right system to manage it, even the most experienced team risk falling behind. The second one is sustainability. Sustainability is no longer just a rules requirement or a question of company image, but it is a business imperative. Lightweight and recyclable, the aluminium plays a unique role in building a sustainable future. However, true environmental performance goes beyond the material itself, and it requires data-driven control over KPIs such as energy consumption, process waste, emissions, scrap rates, and others. Meeting sustainability targets, whether internal or required by legislation, means having full visibility of every stage of production. And manufacturers need tools that actively help to improve performance as well as monitor it. And third and last one is digital transformation. In modern aluminum manufacturing, data has become one of the most valuable assets, but only when it's connected, contextualized, and used to make smarter decisions. While more plants are embracing digital tools, the true value lies beyond dashboards. It comes from creating a fully integrating information workflow that link feasibility, planning, production, and quality, uh, all those into a single decision-making ecosystem. And the goal is not just visibility, but responsiveness. It's not just about collecting data, but it's about acting on it in real time. And that's what bring us here today in this webinar. In the next part of this event, we'll show how aluminum manufacturers are transforming their operation through intelligent data flow. We'll cover the full journey from feasibility and planning to production, quality control, until delivery and through data analysis as well. Unfortunately, due to unexpected event, my colleague Pier Paolo cannot be here. However, join me today is my colleague Marcelo Aiello. sales manager at Atieuno. He'll guide us through the core of today's session, offering practical insights and real-world strategies for optimizing the way data flow run through your aluminum production process. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to write them in the proper section. At the end of the webinar, there will be a Q&A session where we'll be happy to answer your question and discuss all the topics covered. Thank you. I'm closing my camera now and I'll give the floor to Marcelo.
Thanks, Marco, for the introduction, and good morning to all the attendants. Let's start with the feasibility phase. This one is the most important step before we start producing an aluminum profile. Basically, when a customer sends us a request for a new profile, usually through a request for quotation or RFQ, we needed to check if what they are asking is actually possible to make. This means looking at your technical drawings and all the requirements they have listed. We need to be sure we can produce it in a way that's both technically correct and cost effective. Now, this is where Ulixes software comes in. It makes the whole process much faster and more reliable, thanks to two smart tools, Ulixes Profi and the Ulixes Opti. The first one, Ulixes Profi, looks into our database and checks if we have made something similar before. If we have, it can tell us the right settings and steps to use it again. This saves a lot of time. But if the profile is something completely new, then Ulixes Opti takes over. It uses advanced simulations to figure out the best way to produce the profile. It gives us all the parameters we need based on calculations, not just guesswork. This way, we can give the customer a quick and confident answer, and we reduce the chance of problems later on. Another great thing about Ulixes is that it helps the technical and commercial teams work closely together. Everyone sees the same information and can respond faster to client requests. So, overall, this system turns a complicated task into a much simpler and faster process, helping extrusion companies work better and stay competitive. Now, let's talk about the pre-production phase, where planning and scheduling become really important. In an aluminum production plant, you have many things happening at the same time: presses, dies, raw materials, machines for finishing and fabricating, packing lines, and much more. Everything needs to be available and ready at the right time, or else you get delays, production stops, and unhappy customers. This is where Theoria comes in. Theoria is a powerful tool that helps you plan all the production activities in the best possible way. Theoria connects all the different parts of the production chain, like how many billets you have in stock, which dies are ready or under maintenance, which machines or consumables are available, or calendar restrictions set by planning department. It takes all this information and creates a smart production schedule. It also uses strong algorithms to balance work across different production lines, so none of them stay idle for too long. It can even spot future problems, like when a production line might be overloaded or bottlenecks jeopardize the optimal production flow. Before they happen, you can fix things in advance. Another cool feature is that it lets planners do simulations. For example, if something unexpected happens, like the press go down, you can run a what if scenario to see how to change the schedule quickly. This flexibility is really helpful in keeping production running smoothly. At the end, Theoria helps companies to be more efficient. It keeps everything organized, reduces waiting times, and makes sure delivery promises are met. With this system, complex production planning becomes much easier and more reliable. Let's now look at what happens during the actual production. Specifically, how we control the extrusion process. Making high quality aluminum profiles depends on a lot in keeping the process stable. Things like the temperature, the pressure, the speed of extrusion, and the type of billet being used, all needed to stay between the right limits. If they change too much, the quality goes down, and you end up with more scrap and longer setup times. To manage this, we use the system called EMS third generation. This system automatically collects all the important data directly from the machines. Things like how hot the press is, how fast it's running, the cooling rates, and the die setup. All this information is saved and linked to each profile and production batch. Then, when you need to make the same profile again, EMS third generation looks back at the best past runs and either sets the same parameters or recommends them to the operators. This makes the process more repeatable and helps avoid mistakes. You don't need to start from scratch every time. Over time, EMS also builds up a lot of useful data. Engineers can use this to see trends, find problems, and improve processes step by step. So it's not just about keeping things stable today. It's about making the whole system better over time. In short, EMS third generation helps to reduce waste, save setup times, and keep quality high. It turns process control into something smart and automatic instead of manual and error prone. Now, let's talk about quality control. In aluminum extrusion, quality is everything. If the profiles don't meet customer requirements, maybe because the material isn't right or something went wrong during production, it can cause big problems. The product might not work as expected, and customers won't be happy. To avoid that, we use a digital quality control module that connects directly to the production system. It checks and records all the quality related information while the profiles are being made. This includes measurements, inspection results, and even reasons for scrap. Everything is tracked and saved, so you can always go back and see exactly what happened. One of the best parts is that this system also connects to measuring tools and allows operators to enter data during production. If something isn't right, the system can send an alert immediately. In that way, the team can act fast and fix the issue before it becomes a big problem. You can also get powerful reports that show trends, like if the same issue keeps coming up in a certain machine or shift. This helps engineers figure out the root cause, and prevent the problem in the future. Plus, all the data is linked to the batch, so you can provide full quality certifications if needed. In the end, this system turns quality control into a proactive activity, not something you do after a problem, but something that helps you stop problems before they start. It saves money, reduces scrap, and helps keep your customers happy. Let's move on to logistics. In an aluminum production plant, moving materials through the different stages like pressing, aging, cutting, finishing, and so on can be really complex. Profiles are placed into baskets that travel around the plant, and if you lose track of where a basket is or what's inside, it can cause delays, mixed ups, or even lost material. That's why the central logistic module is so useful. It gives you every basket a unique digital ID. In this way, the system can track it in real time, where it is, what process it's in, how long it's been there, and what's inside. This helps operators and supervisors always know what's happening on the shop floor. If you connect the system to the warehouse management tools, it can also do more advanced things automatically. For example, it can control conveyors, send instructions to automated vehicles, raise alarms if there are delays, or help use space in the warehouse more efficiently. It even checks if the right basket is going to the right process at the right time, so everything stays on schedule. This kind of system cuts down on manual work and human mistakes. It makes sure materials don't get lost and that production flows smoothly from one step to the next. Overall, central logistics helps the whole factory run more like a well-organized machine, and that's key for staying productive and competitive. Now, let's talk about the heart of the aluminum extrusion plant, the extrusion press. This is where the actual shaping of the aluminum happens, and it's a process that needs to be tightly controlled. If anything goes wrong here, wrong temperature, incorrect pressure, or bad timing, it can affect the entire product. That's why the press supervisor module is so important. It connects directly to the machines and constantly reads data like temperature, pressure, run speed, billet length, and more. It lets the operator see everything in real time and make sure the process follows the exact recipe. It even adjusts billet length automatically, depending on how the press is performing and how the die is behaving. In that way, you get less scrap and better yield from each billet. Working together with this is the die master module. This handles everything related to the dies, whether they are available, in use, or under maintenance. It keeps a full history of how each die performs, tracks how often it's been changed, and shows exactly where it is in the plant. So, when it's time for a setup, the right die is ready and easy to find, saving time, and by using it, both of them, the plant gets full control over the extrusion process. Everything becomes more stable and predictable. Changeovers are faster, and teams have the data they need to keep improving operations. Let's move on to the finishing department. This is where the profiles get their final surface treatment. Seems like anodizing or powder coating. These steps don't just make the product look good, they also protect it from corrosion and give it the right texture or color based on what the customer wants. But finishing is a multi-step process and it has to be done right. If something goes wrong at any stage, maybe the pre-treatment wasn't done properly or the coating temperature was off, you could end up with defects and affect the whole batch. To keep things under control, we use a finishing module that tracks every batch or basket as it is moving through all stages, from pretreatment to anodizing or coating, and finally to unloading. Supervisors and operators can see exactly where each basket is, what it's doing, and how long it's been in each stage. It also records any scrap along the way, showing where problems happened and connecting them to things like the process parameters, who was operating the machine, or even what time it occurred. This makes it much easier to find and fix the root cause of a defect. Plus, the system is linked to the PLCs, so it can control the process recipes automatically. This helps reduce setup times, avoid mistakes, and make sure every batch gets exactly the right treatment. Overall, this model turns finishing from a manual, risky process into a smart and traceable one, giving you better quality, fewer errors, and more confidence in every product you send out. Now, let's talk about the fabricating department. This is where the extruded profiles are turned into finished products. That includes cutting, punching, drilling, milling, or thermal break assembly. These steps are very detailed and must be done precisely to avoid mistakes or delays. To manage all this, we use a fabricating module. It gives a clear view of what's happening in each machine or station in real time. You can see how many profiles are being worked on, how each machine is performing, and if any station is slowing down the workflow. This helps operators and planners react quickly to keep things moving smoothly. For thermal brake assembly, which is where a plastic strip is inserted into the profile for insulation, the system also makes sure everything follows the customer's instructions exactly. It checks quality, records defects, and links everything to who did what and when. If there's any scrap or rework, that's logged too. The data helps the team see patterns and fix root causes over time. Since the module is also connected to the machines, it can automatically apply the correct settings, reducing the chance of human errors and making sure each profile is processed correctly. So, in short, this module helps ensures that the last step in production, the one that's get the product ready for delivery, is just as organized, efficient, and high quality as everything that came before it. Let's finish with a very important topic, data analysis. In modern extrusion plants, there is a huge amount of data being collected every day. It comes from all areas: feasibility, pressing, finishing, logistics, and fabricating. The challenge is not just collecting this data, but actually using it to make better decisions. That's where extrusion intelligence software comes in. It's a business intelligence or BI tool made specifically for the aluminum extrusion industry. This system brings together data from across the entire factory and shows it in one easy to read dashboard. You can see key performance indicators like press productivity, scrap rates, reasons for downtime, on-time delivery rates, and overall equipment efficiency. It also lets you go deeper when needed. For example, you can look at how specific dies are performing, how much energy is being used, or where quality problems are happening. And because it connects directly to machines, PLCs, and even our ERP systems, all the information is live and accurate. You can create your own reports, spot trends, and compare shifts, presses, or time periods. This helps managers and engineers make smart choices, like how to fix bottlenecks, reduce waste, or improve delivery performance. In short, extrusion intelligence turns all that production data into real, useful insights. It helps your plant become more efficient, more predictable, and more competitive. And maybe even more important, it builds a culture where decisions are based on facts and not guesses. And with this, we have finished our journey of data flow in the plant. And let's go to the Q&A part of the presentation with Marco.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcelo, and thank you all the audience to follow us through the journey in this webinar. So then before closing this session, we can answer some questions you ask in the session during the webinar. So let's move and see. So there's a first question. How long does it take to install a system in a medium-sized plant with, for example, 2 presses? Well, since while doing a project, we need to consider the stakeholders, clients side not 100% involved in the project, and because they are involved in running the company, there are a lot of dead time during the project. So we should consider between 4 to 6 months, a month, including the initial functional analysis. This is a reasonable time, plus the go live and the post go live support we guarantee. So let's see another question. Does Theoria planning consider the entire process or just extrusion? And does it consider the raw material availability? Yes, our planning system consider all the let's say measure expert involved in the process flow that happen from die purchase, let's say, to delivery of the material, and considering all the intermediate situation, even for example the warehouse stock control for profile consumable, the raw materials and consumables in general are obviously part of the constraints, and they are controlled by the system. So material unavailability is one aspect to reject or non-plan an order while running the planning scenario. Can the process parameters be set up from the manager office or just from the machine? No, it's obviously both situation. We got both situation that can happen, for example, for extrusion parameters, but also for work instructions. They can set up from a specific page from the office, and but the same can be done online while running the machine, or before run the machine at the press, at the fabricating machine, and every type of lines we can control. So both are available from the office in advance or during the production process. How many systems are installed worldwide? Uh, let's talk about the extrusion presses, extrusion line, let's say. Um, we are around 200 lines today running our system, plus uh, more or less the same number of after extrusion processes like powder coating, vertical and horizontal, anodizing, wood effect, fabrication machines, thermal break lines, sandwich, assembling in general. Uh, Does Theoria consider the profitability of factory cost centers as well, along with meeting the order deadline? And factories prefer running bigger orders to achieve profitability, but smaller orders also have to be addressed and fulfilled. Look, this is a very specific request or question. Yes, there are some parameters we can use to move the way we want to get the scenario in the system, moving from profitability to delivery time, and the um, size of the order quantity can be also included in the scenario. Obviously, every company is different, so that requires a specific session or analysis during the project, at the beginning of the project, where we discuss all the specific rule and approach the company want the system to apply while calculating the scenario. So in general, yes, we can do that kind of simulation or that kind of setup, but need to be discussed project wise. Um, which program language is used. There are different languages behind. We use some low-code system like FileMaker, some automation system like LabVIEW from National Instruments. We use MySQL as a database. We use also ClickSense for our extrusion business intelligence model. So there are several, but however, the system looks like one system only. There's no need to switch from part to part. Let's move on. For quality, can the system manage the laboratory test and certificates? Yes, there are several ways to control and collect quality controls. Main one is online, the most common. There's a specific page available at the workstation. There are other features that allow to collect information directly from laboratory, and obviously there are different type of certificates we can insert in the system, and they can be used to generate also the laboratory result. Uh, well, regarding total cost for implementation, well, that's something we cannot discuss. It's not easy to discuss in this webinar. However, if you get in touch with us, we can easily release a budgetary offer. That depends what we have to include in the project. Our system is modular, so it's an ecosystem of different modules. So we will set up what kind of module you wanna have for your solution, how many users, and basically that's it. We can evaluate this easily how long it could take, and what could be the cost. So please get in touch with us directly. That's the right way. So let's go on. Uh, is the system connected to to automatic logistics system, automatic warehouse, automatic rates, AGV? And in case of fully manual logistic, and I have some advantages using the logistic function. Um, there's no limit to connect our system to the any type of automatic logistic solution. The only limit is the availability of that system to be connected to external system, but that's something usually very common for us. If in the company there is some way to move material automatically, then we used to push the information to this system and get the real-time information to take both system updated, and uh, on the other hand, in case of fully manual logistic, we can also give some benefit to our solution, because for example, through a mobile app, we can give a tool to the operator who has to move material, to first of all know easily what is inside each container and where is the destination of the container. The same operator can inform the plant when a container, some material is moved from where to where, And we can also generate a schedule for the operator to inform which container has to move from where to where and when it must be moved. So there are also some advantages on that. I think we are running out the available time. Let's see just a couple of questions. Do you manage thermal break or only thermal break or also other type of assembling is covered by the system, so can be thermal break, which is the most common, let's say, in this kind of process and this kind of business market. uh, but also we got experience for sandwich, or we get experience for plates, we got experience for other type of assembling, including, for example, accessory to be attached. So it's not a limited, there's a bill of material management inside the system, so everything is manageable. I will move to the last one. Does the system guarantee the full traceability for final product back to the billet? Um, yes, the full traceability is guaranteed. We have a specific feature in the system to set up the what level of traceability it is required in the company. We could potentially come to the single piece, single final piece backed to the billet used to be extruded. So this is available, and the level of setup again is based on the project discussion. So I think someone is saying there is another question, or maybe no, we are. No, I think we are done. Um, so thank you again for joining us today. We are running out the available time. Uh, we hope this webinar gave you some new perspective, or at least some curiosity on go through say the subject of our system. Now we manage the data flow. Um, any question you could have, or additional question you could have, feel free to get in touch with us directly through email. We can simply reply or have a call together. And thank you very much. Thank you, my colleague, to be available at this session, and have a nice day.